Hello, my friends. Happy Tuesday. We are back for another Tough Love Tuesday. Let me tell you, this this particular topic, I wanted to do it last week, and of course, I came down with that whatever it was that I had. So I brought it back because this topic has come up a lot for me in the last couple of weeks, and it actually just came up for me 10 minutes ago. And it's all about shame. The reason it came up for me about 10 minutes ago is because I was going to go in front of the camera with wet hair. Okay. And I felt this shot of shame, kind of like the whole thing. I heard somebody mention during one of my lives week before last about how it used to be that before the pandemic, they would never leave the house without makeup. And that got me thinking, really thinking about the whole shame thing. Because why do we feel that shame of, I can't leave the house without makeup on? I can't get in front of a camera with wet hair, even though I do it all the time, because frankly, a hair dryer makes me look like I've licked a light socket. So, why do I feel that shame? Shame is not an emotion we're born with. Shame is put on us by other people. How often do you hear someone say, shame on you? Now, I myself use that term. Usually it's with homophobes and racists, and, when I'm on a rant where somebody is being a big jerk to someone because of the way they look or who they love or something like that. But as a parent, I am guilty, as a lot of us are, um, of using shame as a means of control. Okay. We try to shame people into a behavior that we want them to display. All right. Shame is not a natural emotion. It's not like love. It's not like fear. There is no shame. And then somebody had posted on Facebook a meme with a cat standing over a broken vase and saying, "It was like that when I got here. I have no shame." Cats don't feel shame. They don't feel shame because it's not a natural emotion. Shame causes so much trauma in children and into adulthood. We often talk about, jokingly in my circle, about the whole Catholic guilt, or, if you're Italian, there's that whole, Italian mother guilt thing. It's not guilt. It's not guilt that they're trying to lay on you. It's shame. And this really kind of stopped me and made me think hard about, how do I use shame? Like I said, I am all for using it against bigots, homophobes, racists, you know, because those people, honestly, it's actually really a waste of time, because those people don't feel shame, put on them or otherwise. They don't feel it because it's like they grew up without it. Honestly, I did not grow up without it, and I know a lot of you did not grow up without it. So, why do we do it? Why do we do it? It's like anything else. It's like anything else negative that we dredge forward with us from, our parents trying their hardest, doing the best with what they have, and dealing with their own, childhood issues. Why do we do it? Okay, so there is the, I want you to display a certain behavior that's more beneficial to me than the one you're displaying right now. That's usually like number one reason. When you say to a child, don't do whatever, Like, for instance, when we try to make kids share things, you have to share your toy with your cousin, okay? And when they don't want to, because they're 4 years old and sharing is still a new skill they're learning, we shame them. You're going to make him cry. You're being mean. They're not being mean, they're being 4, right? One thing I noticed with my nephew and his son, who just turned 4, is that if the little fella does not want to share, he doesn't have to. It's like very much like he doesn't hug me. The little fella doesn't hug me. I don't know why, but that's okay. He doesn't have to hug me if he doesn't want to, and there is no, "Oh, give poor Aunt Mill a hug." No, no. I actually had somebody say that to him when I asked him if he was gonna give me, because I always ask, right? It's like, "Are you gonna give me a hug before you go?" And he'll go, "No." And I'll be like, "Okay," and I'll give him a little pet on the head and send him on his way. And somebody in his life said to him, "Oh, you're being mean, give her a hug." And I went, "No, he doesn't have to hug me if he doesn't want to." They were trying to place shame on him, probably because they were embarrassed at his denial of hugging me. I wasn't upset he wasn't going to hug me because I believe that this child deserves bodily autonomy. And I mean, how often have you been told, can you remember being told as a child to give grandma a kiss or hug Uncle so and so? And if you didn't want to, you were shamed into it. It's damaging. It's damaging. We need to stop this as a generation. We need to stop this. The littles in our lives need to not be shamed into a behavior we would rather see them display, because they are their own little person. Just like that adult that I may have gotten into it with, that they were being a homophobe, and I said, "Shame on you." It was a waste of my time, but they are their own person. If they want to be a big fat jerk, it's not up to me, first of all, to try to change their mind. It's too exhausting. This is why I am taking a break for the rest of the month from Facebook and Instagram, because nothing brings out the homophobes like Pride Month. So, and I'm tired of trying to shame these people into better behavior. It's exhausting. And then it made me realize that I am doing exactly to this adult what I refuse to do to the little guy. And the little guy I care about. This guy, don't care about, right? So in that instance, it's like a don't do it, because it's frustrating and it's exhausting, and you are not going to change their behavior. You are not saying, "Here, I don't make my church kids share," right? They can have it when kid number 1 is finished. And if the toy belongs to kid number 1, they are under no obligation whatsoever to share it with anybody because it's theirs. Would you lend your car to somebody that you see for an hour on a Sunday? Probably not. For me, my car, because it belonged to my father, is my most prized possession. I would not lend it. I won't let anybody drive it. I won't let anybody drive it because I'm afraid of what might happen if I do. I am under, and nobody would think twice about me saying no to lending my car to somebody that I barely know. But yet we will shame children into sharing their toy that was special enough for them to bring, say, to church. We will shame them into sharing it with kids that they don't even know. There are other kids in the room at church once a week. So my challenge to you is to stop yourself. Think about it. Maybe do a little journaling on not only how shame has shaped your own life, but how you use shame against other people. Because look, we do it. We do it. Nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect. And we do it. The biggest thing, though, is I want you to take a good hard look at how shame rules your life. I had to stop for a minute and convince myself it was okay to get in front of the camera with wet hair. Even though I do it all the time, but see, I do it for sprints. I always do it for sprints because, you know, it's 9 AM on a Sunday morning and I'm gonna get in front of the camera with wet hair. But this is different. This is a different type of it's not just me getting together with a bunch of friends to write. So I had to stop myself and kind of think, why am I feeling that shame? And what do I do to get rid of it? And luckily, I am kind of at a point with shame where it's like, I acknowledge it for what it is, and then I just let go of it. But that took a lot of really hard work. Hard work. I can't even tell you. So I'm going to challenge you guys to take a good hard look at the way that shame shapes your life and the things that you do and the behaviors that you have. Okay. And then I want you to take a good look, especially for those of you who have littles or are around littles. I can tell that your hair is wet. Yeah, it's wet. It'll be wet until at least bedtime. But I'm challenging you guys to just take a good hard look at the shame in your life. And what are you going to do about it? If you're lucky enough like me that you have a therapist, bring it up with your therapist. Because once you learn to get rid of the shame, or at least acknowledge it when you feel it and then just like toss it to the winds, it's so freeing. So freeing. So I am going to leave that with you because speaking of therapists, I have a therapy appointment in half an hour. So listen, I love you guys. Thank you so much for being here. For those of you coming in on the replay, leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think. And for those of you who haven't been able to comment, leave a comment down below. I would love to hear your stories. Okay. I love you guys to death. I'll see you next Tuesday. Bye.